If you're in the market for a short narrative experience with well-crafted environments and beautiful voice acting, then The Pirate Queen might just be the next VR title you pick up. Discover a forgotten legend as you play the part of Cheng Shih, the Pirate Queen, voiced by none other than Lucy Liu, who truly brings history's most successful female pirate to life.
In the 11th year of the Qing Emperor's rule, China is beset by rebellions and sabotage.
All events take place on one pivotal night, where Cheng Shih attempts to ascend to power and be crowned the leader of the Red Flag Fleet. But if you want to know the outcome, you'll have to play the title for yourself. The best way to describe The Pirate Queen would be as an escape room game. The game is broken down into different chapters in which you must overcome different challenges and solve puzzles to proceed. And with a little thought and common sense, most of these are a walk in the park. But should you find yourself stuck, you can ring a bell for assistance. I only found myself having to ring the bell for help once, and that was right at the end where the game didn't really give any indication on what needed to be done. All other times I was able to piece bits together by looking around the environment and seeing what was available to me.
Most certainly a step up.
Other challenges involve avoiding small patrol ships on set paths and swinging bags of ship supplies. But due to teleportation movement, this isn't really much of a challenge. Mostly you'll be looking for items in drawers that can be used with other objects or finding the correct piece of a puzzle. All interactions are what you'd expect from a VR title, but if you're new to VR, the game can be played in a more storytelling mode, which will provide you with instructions on how to do certain interactions. Whilst we're talking about the actual VR side of things, there aren't really any options when it comes to changing the way you want to play. Whilst you can play in either standing or seated mode, you're forced to play with teleportation movement and snap turning, which is a shame as this breaks immersion. For a game that's focus is on storytelling and immersion creating, you'd think they'd at least give you the choice of smooth locomotion and turning with different comfort options. I didn't come across any major bugs or issues. However, there were a few occasions where physics didn't seem to work for interactable objects, or they just behaved oddly. There were a few occasions where you needed to do a bit of climbing as well. However, once you hold on to the rope net or ladder, you can't actually turn using the controls. Instead, you have to physically turn, and whilst not a major issue, it was something I noticed, and for people playing in seated mode, unless you're in a swivel chair, this could be a problem. There were also times where I couldn't just drop down to a small ledge. I say drop down, but with only teleportation movement, it just wouldn't let me teleport there. Instead, I had to climb a short rope down to the lower ledge. Visually, the game does have its moments where it looks quite good and immerses you in the environment, but overall, the graphics aren't anything special. The game is available on both MetaQuest 2 and 3, as well as PC, and having played the PCVR version, I'm surprised the visuals weren't pushed a lot further. There were times where I could clearly see extremely low poly models and textures where there really was no need for it, especially when I was so close to them. With no graphical options, this was rather disappointing. Storytelling is done mostly by your character, Cheng Shih, talking out loud to herself, with the odd encounter with other characters. However, these encounters are done by talking to their silhouette as they hide behind windows and panels.
The maze is swarming.
With Gokpodai's men.
Yes, they say he will be crowned leader.
Let them think that.
You'll also hear people talking in other rooms, but never actually see anyone. I did quite like the whole silhouette solution to not having character models, as it did give me a more theatrical vibe, much like watching a play in an actual theatre and their creative way around stage production.
How go your preparations? Have you learned all you can of your adversary?
Whilst I did enjoy my playthrough of The Pirate Queen, it took me just over an hour and a half to complete, and due to it being a narrative experience with some basic escape room elements to it, there isn't really any replayability. If a second playthrough was to be done, it would be a lot quicker, plus I'm not sure what the point would be, as I personally wouldn't find a second playthrough that enjoyable. At the price of £14.29 on Steam and £14.99 on the Meta Store, part of me thinks it's a just price, due to how much time, effort and money goes into creating these things, especially when you're hiring someone like Lucy Liu. But at the same time, for an experience like this, I think about the price of a cinema ticket. If you're all about story and want a short puzzle experience, then this could be the title for you. However, if you're wanting something more, with action or more length to it, then you might want to look elsewhere, or think about picking it up in a sale.